Chapter 3, Once Upon a Time. So I know if I'm in a castle that I can think of a fairy tale. And this book would remind me of a fairy tale, even though it's not officially called a fairy tale. But I know that I have a mouse named Despereaux, who's different than all the other mice. Despereaux's siblings tried to educate him in the way of being a mouse. His brother Furlough took him on a tour of the castle to teach him the art of scurrying. Move side to side, instructed Furlough. Look over your shoulder all the time, first to the right, then to the left. Don't stop for anything. But Despereaux wasn't listening to Furlough. He was staring at the light pouring in through the stained glass window of the castle. He stood on his hind legs with his handkerchief over his heart and stared up into the brilliant light. Furlough, he said, what is that thing? What are all those colors? Are we in heaven? Cripes, shouted Furlough at the far corner. Don't stand there in the middle of the floor talking about heaven. Move! You're a mouse, not a man. Now you've got to scurry. What? Said Despereaux, staring at the light. But Furlough was gone. He had, like a good mouse, disappeared into the hole in the molding. Despereaux's sister Merlot took him into the castle library, where the light came streaming through the tall, high windows. Here, said Merlot, follow me, small brother, and I'll instruct you on how to nibble paper. Merlot scurried up a chair. From there, hopped onto a table where there was a huge open book. This way, she said, small brother. Despereaux followed her from the chair onto the pages of a book. Now then, said Merlot, this glue here is tasty, and the paper edges are crunchy and yummy. She nibbled the edge of the paper and then looked over at Despereaux. You try, she said. First, a bite of some glue, and then follow it with a crunch of paper. And these squiggles, the squiggles are very tasty. What are the squiggles that she's eating?
Words.
What are the squiggles?
Words.
The words of the book. So she's eating the glue, the paper, and the squiggles. Despereaux looked down at the book, and something remarkable happened. The marks on the pages, the squiggles, as Merlot referred to them, arranged themselves into shapes. The shapes into words. And the words spelled a delicious phrase. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, whispered Merlot, or whispered Despereaux. What? Said Merlot. Nothing. Eat, said Merlot. But Despereaux said, once upon a time. We know Despereaux is different, but do you think that these mice can read?
No.
Can Despereaux? Once upon a time. I couldn't possibly, said Despereaux, backing away from the book. Why? Said Despereaux, it would ruin the story. The story? What story? Merlot stared at him. A piece of paper trembled in one of her whiskers. It's just like Pa said when you were born. Something is not right with you. She turned and scurried from the library to tell her parents about this latest disappointment. Despereaux waited till she was gone, and then he reached out and touched the lovely words. Once upon a time. He shivered. He sneezed. He blew his nose into the handkerchief. Once upon a time, he said aloud, relishing the sound, and then, tracing each word with his paw, he read the story of a beautiful princess and a brave knight. Despereaux did not know it, but he would need very soon to be brave himself. Have I been mentioned? Beneath the castle, there's a dungeon. In this dungeon, there were rats. Large rats. Mean rats. Despereaux was destined to meet those rats. Reader, you must know that an interesting fate, sometimes involving rats, sometimes not, awaits everyone, mouse or man, who does not conform. And conform means to be like others. Despereaux is definitely not like others. Tommorow, chapter 4. Enter the P